What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
some people who did lose water in terms of the pipes. It was all bad for them, but we good. We got sound? Y'all let me know if we got sound on the YouTube channel. Can y'all hear me? Say, there we go. All right. I ain't talking about nothing but some snow. That's all. Y'all, you just missed this was like on Forrest Gump, if you ever saw the movie when he was up there talking. And he was saying some hell of a stuff. And everybody missed that great speech, and you looked over and that man was crying. That's all this was. You just missed that. But no, just talking about snow here in South Louisiana. 8 inches in New Orleans. I measured it about 7 in my backyard. Glad everybody was able to stay off the roads, remain safe. I think the city of Baton Rouge handled it well. Good to see people. I just thought it was great to see people enjoy it. It was a rare phenomenon, something that does not happen here in South Louisiana often, especially with that amount of snow. And looking at the idea that, man, it seemed like a blizzard at one time. Visibility was low. Snow was coming down left to right with the wind, and it was falling quite fast. So I'm just glad everybody had a chance to enjoy it, most of all for the kids. Get out there, have your snowball fights. Get out there and have your snow angels, build your snowman, all of that stuff, man. Those are the memories that will last forever. And for the grown folks, even including myself, I went outside and enjoyed it. Now, I'm not new to snow, having grew up in Chicago and in Arkansas. Now, Arkansas, people would think it snowed. We got, most of the time, it was like sleet and freezing rain. But in Chicago, listen, I can tell you about getting up, having to shovel out the sidewalk, shovel out the driveway, shovel out the front door or the steps, man. That's something when I look back at it. It's 2 things I just personally dislike now that I've gotten older. Raking leaves and shoveling snow. Luckily for me, we don't have to shovel much snow here in South Louisiana. Just kind of let it sit for a day or 2 and it's gone. Of course, you know, when you live in the Midwest and up north, snow don't stop anything like it did here. Had we been in Chicago, what we saw here, you still would have had to get up and go to school and go to work and go about your everyday regular life, and many other places around the country as well. But I hate raking leaves. Do not listen. Raking leaves as a child, as a kid, it is not traumatizing. It's just something I would rather not do. And then having to get all those leaves. You ever had to try to put leaves in that, initially in that black bag when you first started? How hard it is? I'm not even going to go down through all that. All right, let's get ready to take a break. We come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay tuned, boy, the Jaguar Journal. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown.
Holmes goes
goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8, the deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player.
All right, we are back. A hell of a time when you get a chance to experience a new thing for you, huh?
Nah, it's not a new thing. We get a little snow up in Tennessee, so it wasn't too much for me. I wasn't expecting that much snow, but it was just enough.
Snow, man, listen, I enjoyed it, and I just asked because when you look at your schedule, how much did this affect you guys getting ready and prepared for the season?
It's pushed us back a couple days just because the field's soaking wet. Still got a few puddles out there, but we was able to get out on the football field yesterday and do some things. Today we plan on going back again.
You talking about getting ready for the season is right around the corner before you have first pitch. And let me ask you, before you get started with the season, you have an event coming up here soon, man. Talk to me about the event for the people out there to be able to get an opportunity to be a part of it.
So we having a first pitch banquet. Coach Kedrick used to do it back when I played. It's something I'm trying to bring back to get more alums around the program, around the players, and try to raise some money while doing that. We got one coming up January 31st. Doors open at 6 o'clock. We sold out all the tables, but you can still donate or you can purchase a walk-in ticket.
Now, when you look at this event, tell me, what's the purpose of this event? Why are we doing it?
Just to meet the team, learn a little bit about the team, learn about the coaches, meet the coaches, and then for them to meet the alums that have so much pride about the program. And hopefully those guys can come around and rub elbows with the current players and talk about the stories, what happened when they played, so they can have a better understanding about what it means to be a Southern Jaguar.
You're talking about what it means to be a Southern Jaguar, rich history, tradition rich. It's been you look at Roger Kadar, right? You have the Roger Kadar Baseball Fieldhouse and what he meant to that program, putting together countless winning seasons, winning countless championships, sending guys to the pros. And you look at where we at this year, coming into this year, what can we expect from this team? Who do we have returning, transfer portal, all of those types of things as we get ready to see the 2025 Jaguar baseball team?
It's going to be a fairly new team. We got 26 transfers, but we return KJ White. He played a lot last year, made the USA team. Jalen Mack, Dominic Joseph, Jacoby Radcliffe. And then on the mound, we return a good 4 or 5 guys that played a lot last year, and we got a whole bunch of new pieces. We got a couple transfers. We got a transfer from Louisiana Monroe, Cardell Thibodeau. We got another transfer from Alcorn, Jalen Lucky and Kiki Ford. We got a reliever, probably going to try to stretch him out to be a starter, Jeremiah Newman, right-handed pitcher. He's draft eligible this year with a big-time arm. And we got a couple freshmen that's going to be really good. Of those 26 players, 13 of them are freshmen. So I think this freshman class is going to be really good, and we got 2 or 3 that's going to play right away.
Looking at the transfer portal in the realm of college baseball, I've had opportunities to talk to Coach Terrence Graves. For football, Coach Carlos Funches and Coach Kevin Johnson on basketball, talking about NIL and talking about the transfer portal. Now, let's look at the baseball side because I don't get a chance to have this conversation often. What does NIL, a collective, and the transfer portal look like, and how is it affecting college baseball, and particularly Southern University?
The NIL, I don't know if I could say it's affecting us or doing us good or hurting us. When I go into the transfer portal, I'm looking for guys that really want to play. Last year, Tyler Hawkins was a guy that was out of the transfer portal. He was looking to go somewhere where he could play and show people he could play. We had opportunity for him, and it worked out. He garnered a lot of attention. I thought he should have been the guy that got drafted. He hit over 350, 11 home runs, stole over 25 bags, and drove in over 40 runs. So played center field every day. And then this year we got some guys out of the portal that's looking to prove to people that they can play the game. They're hungry. They got a little grit to them about it. So, I mean, we lost our best pitcher in the portal one year, and then I've gained some good players out of the portal. So, but the collective and NIL part, that's not coming into play for us right now.
When you out recruiting a guy, and even in the transfer portal, Coach Funches told me the first thing they asking about is the bag, as we call it. Are you seeing that on the same with baseball when you having conversations and communicating with those young guys and explaining about Southern? Is that something that is the new thing where they're asking directly now about money?
I've had a couple conversations with a couple players that money did come up. But again, some of the guys we're talking to, they're still trying to go to the Power 4, Power 5 schools. So when you hear those school names come up, you know that's a reference to the money that they have to put out to bring players in. So, I mean, we continue to have those types of conversations. We're having a conversation right now with a kid. And basically he was like, I'm trying to go Power 4, and if that don't work out, I'll be a Jaguar. So we have to play the waiting game sometimes when we want to try to get a really good player. But not many conversations are about money when I'm talking to recruits.
Let me ask you this, just for perspective. If I'm looking at Crosstown LSU, who you guys, of course, went on the road and beat last year, and I look at their roster, what do you think, just an estimate, maybe what they're spending maybe in NIL and collective for the players that they have?
Oh, man. Tough question. I know there was conversation had about that 23 team, I think, that won a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around $3 or $4 million was on the field. When we played them that year. I don't know. Me and Coach Johnson never had those conversations about what he has to play with.
Yeah.
To sign guys in NIL, but I would say he got a pretty good amount over there. But somewhere around that $3 to $6 million is probably what they have in collectives.
Woo!
We ain't even talking about budget. We talking about extra money. And not to mention they got one of the highest budgets in college baseball. I think that 23 year they put out the top budgeted programs in college baseball, and I think of those 10 they put out, 6 of them was in the College World Series.
And see, why I asked that question, because I try to peel back the layers, pull the curtain back for people who may not understand the different, what they say is levels to this. And for people who may not understand the difference, like you look across town and you say, okay, they winning, you know what they're doing just from an outside perspective, but to get a true idea of the amount of money that's being pumped into that program. And then we look across town and back at Southern, it's like, all right, we went over there and beat that $3 million on the field, $3 to $6 million on the field last year, right? With guys where we saying NIL is not even a thing right now for a place like Southern when it comes to baseball. But it's just it's time to look at the real world and say, basically, if you're trying to get to Omaha, you're going to have to put a couple $1 million on the field.
Somewhere around there. I don't think it's got to be $1 million, but you get you 3 or 4 pitchers that you can, that really, like when the game is on the line, you put them in and get 2-3 hitters in the middle of your lineup that's productive from the start to the finish. Man, you can do a lot with that. And I don't think you got to spend millions of dollars to do that, but maybe a couple $100,000 or a couple $100,000 back into the program. It just depends on what all you can provide for your kids.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing, especially for our program, right? Because we look at Southern. We know Southern is a low-resource institution, but our expectations are through the roof. And I have this conversation all the time, even here on this show, saying, you know, we expect championships. We expect our coaches to do a lot with a little, right? And when you guys do go out and create a lot with a little, what are we doing the next year to pour back into that program? There's no way we should show up in that program is in the same situation that it was in the previous year after winning a championship, right? Conference championship is a start. Every sport on that campus, aside from football, has an opportunity to go out and compete for a national championship, And the huge thing about it is you have to pour back into the program. And I always challenge our listeners, I always challenge people out there to understand, we can yell and cry about championships all day, every day. Okay, once we bring one home, what do we do now? What are we doing to now elevate the program to help boost it so you can be 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead further than what you were the previous year? No way you come back the next year still dealing with the same exact things or maybe more the next year. That's what we have to do. We got to pour back into our programs, in particular baseball, because I don't think people understand the true need of what it takes to run a baseball program at a high level. And I'm not just talking about at the SWAC level. I'm talking about a legit, what we call the mid-major program here in this country when we talk about Division I baseball. So, Coach, I always love to have that conversation, because what I like to do, once again, is peel back the layers and give people a little bit better opportunity to see that it go beyond the wins and the losses. It's the operations of how things have to function these days. And it's always been operations, but more now than ever, operations really matter. And you're talking about even with that budget and pouring back into the program, which is why, once again, Coach, pouring back into the program, you have that event coming up. Give the people one more time the information for that event so they can buy tickets. And even if you don't show up, still buy the tickets to help pour back into this program.
You can go to the Alumni Federation website and search Baseball First Pitch Banquet. It's on their website. We also have a link on Instagram. You can go to Southern U BSB on Twitter and Instagram. The links are on there to sign up and make donations or say you want to attend the event. So it's on those 3 platforms, and look forward to seeing some people out there that I don't know. Hopefully I can beat you.
Well, man, I appreciate you. People out there, please come out and support the program. Needs you. And, Coach, man, first pitch, of course, I'll have you back on here in a couple weeks. We'll talk about some baseball and break this thing down a lot more, looking at the schedule and everything else, man. Appreciate you for coming on this weekend, man, and stay warm.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that's the voice of Coach Crenshaw, Chris Crenshaw, the head baseball coach at Southern University. Let's get ready to take a break, work out some of the kinks, and we'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, we are back. Good morning, everybody. It is the Jaguar Journal. Glad to have you guys with us, man. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody. 7:35 a.m. here in the capital city area. Everybody listening on our 107.3 FM across the capital city on the radio. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody listening and watching on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. Costs nothing but love and support, and that's all we ask for. So hit that subscribe button. Become a subscriber today. Get that notification. Anytime we do go live, it comes directly to you, or any opportunity that you want to go back and watch any of the previous shows, interviews, it gives you all of that. And everybody watching on our Facebook, glad to have you guys with us as well. Facebook Live across various groups. Good morning. All right, as we get ready to stay rocking and rolling on this show this morning, very special guest. He's no stranger to the show, and he's the leader of course, the greatest band to march anywhere, whether it's a street, whether it's a parade, whether it's a halftime, it does not matter. Battle of the bands. We know where the greatest band in the land resides, and that's at Southern University. He is the head band director of the Human Jukebox. Let's welcome to the show this morning, my man, Dr. Kedrick Taylor. Good morning, Dr. Taylor.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. I'm feeling good this morning.
It's cold.
Oh, yeah, it's chilly out here. It's an ice cold Saturday.
Ice cold Saturday. I see where you're going with that. All right. I see where you're going with that. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, man. 2025, 2024, we was rocking and rolling. Now we headed in 2025, and there are a plethora of things right in front of you with this band. You guys went down and performed down in New Orleans with the Wind Ensemble, and you did something that had never been done before. Let's start before we get into anything else about going down to New Orleans last week. What happened?
Man, we went to New Orleans. It's the first time that a HBCU program has been invited to perform at the LMEA conference, which has been going on for many, many years. And, I can remember maybe 13, 14 years ago, maybe it was a little more, but I can remember when, the African-American bands weren't as welcomed as they are today. And I feel like, with the leadership we have today with the conference and Scotty Walker, man, he's given and the team, as of course the board, they welcomed us, and we was able to present something that our students been doing for years that they didn't even know about. It's like a hidden secret, but we've been doing this for many years, and just to be able to go out and display it on that stage, it was almost like the Human Jukebox performing at a halftime show on stage, but we were playing concert music, and they didn't realize that our students were that fluent on that instrument as music educators, So, like I said, it was very monumental for us because we never had the opportunity, and the room was, packed. It was really packed, and it was like we've never performed in front of this many people on the concert stage, So for the students playing, they were excited but yet nervous because, LSU Wind Ensemble played the night before, and that Wind Ensemble consists of doctoral students and students pursuing that master's degree. So our students were like, we just all undergrad, and we only had 21 music majors in that group versus, the LSU Wind Ensemble got master students in music and people that's pursuing their doctorates in music. So you got basically people that have been teaching, playing on stage versus undergrad students. And I won't say it was a versus because it wasn't, but it was just a platform in which they were on that, raised the bar. But they thought so much of the Southern University Wind Ensemble that they put us as the featured group on Saturday. So it spoke volume as to who we are as music educators at Southern University and who our students are as music performers at this level.
Yeah, because it always, for a lot of people, you see the YouTube, you watch the half times, you at the games, but it's beyond just football. It's beyond the entertainment of the game. It's the work that you guys put in as a staff, as yourself and everybody else in that music department to do music. It's because I think people get so caught up into just the human jukebox element of it, the blowing, the fifth quarters, the zero quarters, and the halftime. But you guys do so much more as a department that sometimes often does not get seen. And you guys put out your performance, and what a hell of a performance it was. And if anybody out there want to watch the performance that Dr. Taylor is talking about, it is on the band's page. You can go on social media, the Southern University Marching Band social media, as well as you can go follow the Human Jukebox on YouTube to get a chance to see that performance. Man, listen, magical when you watch them do what they do. And it goes beyond, I think, that just what people have grown accustomed to just seeing at those football games. What you guys doing with those young people in terms of teaching music, and we talking about comprehensive music, not just whole notes, not just blowing, but comprehensive music. And the thing about it, to be featured at an event that has never really seemed to care about inviting what we consider HBCUs and in our culture, and then to put you there and to watch you work and then to win the room over, for me, I think that is a huge thing. And I don't really want to put it as an accomplishment because you guys have been accomplished. It was just their loss for not knowing all this time, but it was your game because now you just picked up a new audience of people to say, you know what, I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. And it sounds like you know something about music, man. But
I be around you enough. I should know about music.
Oh, yeah. You learning a lot. But you're a student of the game.
Maybe one day I might be a junior high band director or something. Maybe that might be in my future.
Man, there you go. Hey, you might be able to do what some of these people out here doing.
You know, but what I like about it is, man, and talk about teaching that type of music, you know, being able to work with students, the time that students, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about, that those students put in to learn that type of music when we're talking about wind ensemble.
Yeah, the amount of fundamentals it takes to play grade 5 and grade 6 music, man, it's not easy at all, you know, which is what makes the Human Jukebox so good. All of our students are in an ensemble to get better. It's almost like training for football or basketball or baseball. We have training year round, but training is where our students work on that fundamentals. And one thing I could say about having these ensembles is it enables us to play at a high level where if a professional comes in, like when Fantasia came in, we were able to instantly write her music, not only write it, but the students were able to execute it to where she was like, man, this sounds like a symphony when she walked in. And for somebody of her standard to be able to come in and say that about your ensemble says a lot, because everybody don't have that type of platform to where they can get an artist to come in. But to be able to have artists come in and then see the type of advanced musicians that we have, you know, that open up opportunities for, I might take one of these students with me on the road, you know. It just opened up avenues for your students, not only just to play in the Human Jukebox, but to further their career in music by the stages that they are able to play on and the accomplishments, exposure that they're being exposed to, and the experience that they're gaining. So we're not only just preparing our students to go perform at halftime shows and ballad bands and things of that such. We're preparing them for their future. Even if they don't want to pursue a career in music, they know the discipline of learning to play that instrument at a high level. So if you can play an instrument at a high level, there's almost not anything you can't do or accomplish in the world as it relates to being able to accomplish a goal or a dream, because playing an instrument is not easy. And being able to master it says a lot about the person, the students, and their character.
It definitely does. You're talking about musicians all across this globe that have come right there out of Southern University by excelling on whatever instrument that they were able to learn and excel. And that's the beautiful thing about that hidden gem right there in North Baton Rouge that a lot of people may not know about when you look at the music program and when you figure out that, hey, it's beyond just marching band. There are some talented young people over there. And shout out to you and your staff and the entire music department going out finding those young people. And we often say at Southern, we find a diamond in the rough, we polish it. And guess what? You may come in as a piece of coal, but by the time you leave here, you're going to be shining bright like a diamond, because we're able to polish you up, we're able to figure you out, and we're able to get you prepared and ready for the world in terms of what other schools may deem you as not even acceptable. Dr. Taylor, do you have a second to hold on through a break with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. That's the voice of Dr. Kedrick Taylor, Director of Bands at Southern University. Let's take a break. We come back on this side. We'll talk about what's coming up for the Human Jukebox as they get ready for 2025. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high-octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic.
Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket, and his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down in 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody listening in the capital city area of Baton Rouge here at 7:49 a.m. on 107.3 FM. Turn your radios up. Got a very good guest here this morning on the show. And everybody watching on our YouTube and on our Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us. Guess what? Got a very special guest. He is the director of bands at Southern University, my man, Dr. Kedrick Taylor. Good morning, Dr. Taylor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
All right, as we move forward into 2025, right, big news for Southern University. You guys will be participating in the Honda Battle of the Bands out in Los Angeles, California, coming up, man. Talk about how huge that is to take our brand and be able to take it to the West Coast and market it in such a huge venue as the Honda Battle of the Bands. And for people who don't know, the Honda Battle of the Bands really got started in Atlanta, Georgia some years back. I think right up until COVID happened, they tried to figure out what was going to be the next move. And now taking this show on the road and taking it to the West Coast to L.A., and that's where the Human Jukebox and the marching band will be at.
Yes, sir, man. We're headed to SoFi Stadium in California, and our students never had the opportunity to march in that stadium. So, you know, we definitely got to go and Human Jukebox-nize it. Yeah, it's another platform for our students, and it's another opportunity for us to gain experience and exposure in another area. And not only are we going there to perform, but, you know, there are going to be celebrities there to, you know, see our band for the first time. And there also are going to be opportunities for our students to gain more experience and exposure with the community. You know, they have all the fires and things going on in California. So to be able to go out, and we're going to be at Inglewood High School, and, you know, we're going to go out and network with those students and, you know, talk to those students and, you know, tell them about Southern University, opportunities that they can have at, you know, Southern University. And we're going to play for the students as well and surrounding areas. So anybody that's in the area that, you know, want to come by and support our students and, you know, also come and help us recruit other students to come to Southern University, man, that would be a great opportunity for us to, you know, showcase what we do here in Louisiana on a different scale.
Other marching bands that'll be a part of the lineup, we're talking about Alabama A&M, Hampton University, Alabama State, North Carolina A&T, from my neck of the woods, the M4 UAPB marching band, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and, of course, Southern University. You see that lineup able to take HBCUs out to the West Coast, in which they don't get a chance to see HBCUs hardly ever when you look out on the West Coast. And as you talk about recruiting students, that's what it's all about, getting young people from all across the globe, not just the United States, but across the globe, to get them to understand the type of education that they can get at Southern University, that they can come and become somebody better by what they learn and what they gain from coming to Southern University. And when you talk about recruiting, that is a pretty tough thing when you're looking at a band, because that is the biggest auxiliary of any organization or team of anything when you look on any college campus, right? Football will have up to 100 guys, and everybody else other than that's far less. So when you're going out recruiting, man, that is a tall task to ask for you and your staff, to have to travel the country to go through and find musicians all over the place.
Man, we see over 500 students. Over 500. I can't even tell you the amount of students we see, and you kind of remember them all because they all unique. Because musicians, they're definitely creatives, and just seeing these different students, you recruit, and you see sometimes in other band programs, they like, Doc, I really wanted to come to Southern, but we funding and, scholarship opportunities at other schools, and, so when you hear that, you kind of say, okay, man, I understand, but man, there's some really talented students that we see across the country, as far as from California all the way over to Florida, up north, even in the D.C. area. And we've even had some students come, from the Virgin Islands. So, students come from all over to be in Human Jukebox. And it's just to see the different demographics and the diversity in the picking and bringing all that together and creating the Human Jukebox. We're very diverse now. We have pretty much every race in the band. When I was in the band, it wasn't as diverse, and it was definitely almost all males. It wasn't as many females in the band. So to see where we are today, man, just getting students from all over and giving everybody equal opportunity to come and be a part of the world-renowned, internationally famed Southern University Human Jukebox, it just says a lot about how far we've come.
Now, what's going to happen today? The NIL and Collective hit the marching band.
It's going to get more and more competitive. It definitely won't. It's gonna be like football. It ain't gonna be about. I'm not gonna say it's not always about winning, but a lot of these guys, I don't think they care about winning no more. They want to get paid.
Yep. And listen, and I can understand that for a young musician who's looking at college, and want a scholarship to go to school. Man, that is a total understanding to me, that I can see why you would want that. I mean, you go out, and that's what I talk about all the time here on this show, especially when I get you on here. People don't realize how much work these young people put in and put out something. The performances that you guys get out there. My man Scotty, a.k.a. Offscript, every time he hears it, he's like, man, it's just, I don't know how they put that air through the horn. It's like listening to the actual song through the arrangements. And he gets blown away sometime when he hears the music because, he's learning the space about HBCU bands. Sometimes you can run up on a band and they just completely spoil it for you. But for Southern, you guys don't spoil it for people who come into this space and learn about it. But people just don't understand how much time these young people put into just what they see on a Saturday, and that they critique and watch over and over and over and over, looking for any little thing on YouTube.
And that's correct. And people don't realize how much it takes to create that, but that's a story for another day. It does take a lot, and those students, it's a full-time job for them going to class and practicing on, they don't have much free time to just be a regular student, because it is like a full-time job, and the amount of events that they perform for, they're not only doing football games, but they do basketball games. We've played at volleyball games before, it don't stop. And, parades, we have Mardi Gras coming up, as well as the $100 bands, and, things just keep piling up that people want to see the Human Jukebox perform for. When I was in the band, man, when the Bayou Classic was over, that marching band was shut down. It was Dr. Greg shut it down. Like, we didn't do Mardi Gras, So when people talk about history, Dr. Greg shut Mardi Gras down like in the late '80s, I want to say, and he just didn't go back because someone there was violent activity happening, and he from then on he was like, we wasn't doing Mardi Gras no more. So it was some years before Mr. Jackson took on the band and the band started back doing parades. So now people look at it as it's an annual thing now, and you kind of started something, and it's almost like that's what people expect now. So, but they don't realize, man, it's almost a year-round thing. Like, even in the summer, people calling for the band to perform. I'm like, well, the students going home for the summer break, but these students put a lot of time into playing these instruments. And as the director, I feel like the least we can do is give these students a scholarship to pay for their tuition. For all the time and hard work that they put in to aid in people opportunity to see the band and people wanting the band, and they're asking. It's like people want almost like the band to come for free sometime, and I'm like,
no,
that's not fair. That's not fair to our students because they put too much work into doing what they do. That's like almost asking someone to come and do a service at your house for free. Like, you're not going to call somebody out to fix anything at your house for free. There's going to be a cost that comes with it. So it's the same when you ask an artist to come perform at a concert. You're not going to go to that concert free unless there's a cost somewhere. And, so it's just like almost like you asking the Southern University Human Jukebox, a band that has been on international platforms, to come and perform for free is just like not the best practice that we like to go with on today, with our students, because they put too much work and time into that band program.
And I can understand exactly what you're saying because, listen, that band within itself mesmerizes people and it attracts. Alabama has this football program that opens up the door for many people to learn about it. For Southern University, it's the Southern University Marching Band that opens the door. My man, Scotty, he just texted me. He said he loved that John Legend Tomorrow. That's his favorite. You arranged that song. And this band, as you said, is internationally known. Got to get ready to take a break. Internationally known, performed at Super Bowls, has performed at presidential inaugurations, the Rose Bowl, Radio City Music Hall, anywhere you can think of. And now they'll be headed to Los Angeles for the Honda Battle of the Bands. And then they'll be back in New Orleans for all the Mardi Gras parades. Man, listen, thank you, Dr. Taylor, coming on this morning. And I appreciate you for putting out the word for the marching band, man.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, that's the voice of Dr. Kedrick Taylor, Director of Bands at Southern University. Let's get ready to take a break. And we come back on the other side. We'll continue the show. Stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quarter, with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball's at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up. Kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for 69-yard reception.
Content is for
and then the big run.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody, man. Glad to have you guys with us. We are now at the 8 o'clock hour here on the show. Glad for everybody who's listening across the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3. Good morning. Turn your radios up. Get your coffee together. And everybody across the country watching on our YouTube channel and Facebook page, glad to have you with us. Go on our Facebook, hit that like and follow button, and go on our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, along with YouTube at the Jaguar Journal. You can follow us on X and Instagram at the Jaguar Journal _ it, as well as on Facebook. Just type in the Jaguar Journal. Click on our link tree and all of our social media outlets in the description, and you'll be able to keep up with all the sports and news updates that we put out there. My man Mike does a great job chopping up interviews and putting them out there on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and get a chance to listen to, if it's not the entire show, you can watch and listen to those different segments. So, we'll have that today as well. When you're looking at my man, Coach Crenshaw, the head baseball coach at Southern University, want to thank him for coming on and talking with us this morning. And then my man, Dr. Kedrick Taylor, coming on and talking to us about the marching band who is getting ready to head out to Los Angeles, California to participate in the Honda Battle of the Bands. So that's going to be big to take this HBCU culture and take it out to the West Coast, and then open up some minds and some eyes and some ears of young people out there that may ultimately say, I want to go down south to go to Southern. That seemed like a great place. That's why I believe the marching band is such an influence that it is, that you can take it anywhere at any given time. And because of that unique sound, the power, and just the mesmerizing feel that band gives when they show up and put some air in those horns, you never know whose attention you're going to be able to grab and say, I want to go to Southern. It may not necessarily say just to be in the band, but I just want to go be near the band. I just want to go be a part of the culture. I see some majors that I like that Southern offers. I want to go experience that Louisiana culture. I just want to be down in Baton Rouge. And so that's the beauty of being able to go out into those new areas, specifically the West Coast. So I'm glad to be able to have them, have Dr. Taylor on to talk about that. All right, let's look back at some women's basketball, right? You guys ready? Southern University women's basketball. We had Grambling last week. Woo! Now, I must say, y'all did answer the call when I talked about us a little bit last week about how those first, I went to the FAMU and the Baton game, and y'all wasn't in it. Y'all wasn't in it. But let me tell you something. Last week, y'all was in it. Shout out to the fans. Y'all was in it. I have to give a shout out to the fans. But let's start on the women's side. Southern University women getting a much-needed victory over Grambling State, 59-53. Coach Carlos Funches and the Southern University women's basketball team shooting 23 of 59 in this ball game, shooting 39%, 5 of 12 from the three-point line, shooting 41%, and 8 of 14 from the free throw line, shooting 57%. 35 rebounds, 16 offensively, 19 defensively for Southern University women's basketball. 18 assists, 12 steals, and 18 total turnovers in that ball game. Able to get 8 points off of fast breaks and 32 points in the paint. Southern University women largest lead in that game was 12. Looking on the other side of the Tigers of Grambling State and their women's basketball team shooting 20 of 52, shooting 38%. They were 1 of 18 from the three-point line. Tough day shooting for the three. shooting 12%, and 12 of 19 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. They had 32 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 blocks, 22 turnovers, 8 points off the fast breaks, 34 points in the paint. Both these teams was banging in the paint, and then their largest lead in the ball game was 4, up by 4. Southern able to get that victory, 59-53. Big victory. Listen, big victory for Southern women's basketball. That Grambling has seemed to be a little thorn in our side for quite some time, and shout out to Southern women getting it done. All right, now let's pump the brakes a little bit, right? Let's pump the brakes, and let's go all the way back to last Saturday, and let's look at some other games around the SWAC. How about Jackson State going on the road, getting a victory over Sandy Pugh, 67-48 over Prairie View. Jackson State rolled on. Bethune-Cookman women getting a much-needed victory, 67-49 over Mississippi Valley State. How about this one on the women's side, right? Coach Don Thornton, who is taking over the Alabama A&M program, coming over from UAPB, going against Alabama State. I like to call this the Magic City on the hardwood. What a game it was, 54-47 in a packed game over in Huntsville. And guess who showed up to that game? Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. His daughter, of course, plays for Alabama A&M. He decided to show up, surprise her, and surprise many in the crowd as he showed up to watch Alabama A&M get a victory over their hated rival, Alabama State, on the women's side. Coach Don Thornton and Alabama A&M seem to be trending and headed in the right direction, 54-47. Of course, Southern, the Bayou Classic on the hardwood, getting it done on the women's side, 59-53. And then you look over at Texas Southern, who continues to roll. Right now, Texas Southern looks like the best team in women's basketball on the SWAC side, getting it done over Alcorn State, 70-48, and then Florida A&M getting it done over the Golden Lions of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, 84-50 on a tough road game for UAPB, having to go all the way over to Tallahassee for that one. All right, then let's look at Thursday night, right? 2 games played Thursday. One was postponed, Bethune-Cookman versus Alcorn State. That game was postponed due, of course, to the weather here in the South, this region. That game was going to be played up at Alcorn State, but Grambling State getting the victory over the Golden Lions of Pine Bluff, 64-57 in a close one. And then Jackson State continues to roll on, 73-62 over Florida A&M. All right, let's look at some ball games on the women's side across the SWAC conference today. Florida A&M will be going on the road, taking on Alcorn State just right up the road on Highway 61. Tip off at 1 o'clock. Both teams, this is going to be maybe an ugly game. I'm not going to put too much on it. Florida A&M and Alcorn State, I'm going to stay away from it. I just let them be. All right, tip off at 1 o'clock. Prairie View women's going on to take on Alabama State. Alabama State will be the home team over in Montgomery, Alabama. Bethune-Cookman on the road going up to Jackson, Mississippi to take on the Tigers of Jackson State on the women's side. Texas Southern and Alabama A&M. This is a hell of a matchup today. I think if you want to circle a game to watch on the women's side today, this is one to watch. Texas Southern, of course, rocking and rolling. Alabama A&M rocking and rolling. Texas Southern handing out L's. Let's see if Alabama A&M at home can hold it down, and I'll get back to that game just a little bit more. How about Southern on the road going up to my neck of the woods, Pine Bluff, Arkansas? Southern University women taking on the Golden Lions of UAPB women's basketball. And then, of course, Grambling going up to Itta Bena, Mississippi to take on the Mississippi Valley Delta Devils. That game should be pretty interesting up in Itta Bena. All right, let's look at the SWAC conference, right, on the women's side. And let's start at the bottom and work our way up to the top and giving you an update on where everybody stands. And at the bottom, today's opponent for the Jaguar, Southern University women, be taking on the UAPB Golden Lions women basketball team. They're at the bottom. They're 0-6 in conference play. If you want to find a team that has not won a game, right above them, Southern's opponent that's going to be Monday on the women's side, Mississippi Valley, 1-5 in conference play. Alcorn, 1-4 in conference play. Then you have Prairie View and Sandy Pugh, excuse me, 2-4 in conference play. Alabama State sitting there at 2-3 in conference play. And now you start to find those teams getting right at 500 or above 500 in conference play. You have Florida A&M, the Rattlers on the women's side, along with Grambling, both sitting there tied at 3-3, 2.5 games out of first place. right above Grambling and FAMU. Bethune-Cookman sitting there at 3-2 in conference play, 2 games out of first place. Then you have 2 teams lined up all right there in that third place spot, which is Southern and Alabama A&M, both at 4-1 in conference place. They're both a game out of first place. And then Jackson State, half a game out of first place, sitting there at 5-1. And then Texas Southern at the very top, looking at 5-0 in conference play. Today's ball game versus Alabama A&M is going to be big when you look at Texas Southern. They have been reeling off victories, looking at starting conference play, an 85-74 victory over Grambling State. Grambling was a favorite coming into this season. They're kind of taking a seat back, and Texas Southern is kind of taking over. You look at Texas Southern. Southern was up by at least 10 points and kind of let that lead squander away over on the road in Houston, Texas, as Texas Southern found a way to beat the Jaguars on the women's side, 55-51. Then Texas Southern continued to roll on. They got a victory 80-54 over Mississippi Valley State. And then in a big one that I thought was a key victory, 69-54 over Jackson State. So far, they've handed Southern and Jackson State their only losses in conference play. And they rolled on to whoop up on Alcorn State last week, 70-48. And then the game against Alabama State is going to be big. I like that matchup. I just think in Alabama A&M, of course, Alabama State, they're going to take on Monday, the game today against Alabama A&M. I like that matchup when you look at these two teams. Now let's look at Alabama A&M on the other side, right? Coming into the season, they got a victory over Mississippi Valley, an 89-53 victory. They moved on because Coach Don Thornton took over Alabama A&M, of course, leaving Pine Bluff. She had took UAPB 2 years ago to their very first SWAC championship game appearance, in which they played Southern. Southern was able to get the victory, but what she did for that women's basketball program at UAPB was pretty amazing. Took them, and then guess what? Taking on her old team this year, 66-52. The Bulldogs able to get it done over Coach Don Thornton's former team, the Golden Lions of UAPB. Then a tough one against Jackson State, right? 65-55 loss to Jackson State. Jackson rolled on. And then you look at, they were able to get it done 66-56 over Alcorn State, and a 54-47 victory over Alabama State last week, which that was huge for them to get that done. All right, then we look at Monday, right? Monday, you're going to have some matchups across the SWAC. Bethune-Cookman on the road at Alcorn State. Texas Southern is going to be on the road at Alabama State. Of course, what I mentioned before, Southern on the road taking on Mississippi Valley State. And then to wrap things up on Monday, Prairie View and Sandy Pugh headed over to take on Alabama A&M and Coach Don Thornton. Right now, are you surprised with women's basketball and where it stands? And you look at Southern University sitting there in the thick of things. I'm trying to see how they're going to get it done. They should pick up 2 victories this week. Both Pine Bluff and Mississippi Valley are at the very bottom of the conference. Pine Bluff winless on the women's side. Mississippi Valley with 1 win on the women's side. So you're looking at both teams combined. 1 win in conference play between 2 teams should be pretty good, but you can't overlook an opponent, especially on a road trip. I know practice was affected this week because of the recent snowstorms here in Baton Rouge. So shout out to Coach Carlos Funches, him and that Southern University women's basketball team. They continue to find ways to get it done, and hopefully they can go get it done on that road trip. Those Pine Bluff and Itabena road trips it's nothing out there. It's forgotten land. It's what we call God's country, right? A lot of times you forget, man, this is really what the country looked like. You know, you see just fields upon fields. So those rides can be tough, but hopefully Coach Funches and his team get up there and get it done, taking on Pine Bluff today and Mississippi Valley on Monday. Big game, I said, on the women's side to pay attention to. Texas Southern versus Alabama A&M today. If you have not got a chance to, make sure you watch both those programs. And along if this streaming, I have to check with my people up in Pine Bluff to see if the games will be streamed behind a paywall or if it'll be open today. So let's get ready to take a break. I'll come back in on the side. We'll look at Southern University men's basketball and take a look around the SWAC, all right? So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there watching and listening, man. Glad to have you guys being a part of the broadcast this morning. Everybody out there on 107.3 FM. Good morning on our Facebook and YouTube channel. Good morning. I always got to give a shout out to you guys. Let's jump over into the men's side of things. Men's basketball in the SWAC, right? Last Saturday, we jumped back to it. Southern University took on Grambling. Listen, I must say, that was, for me, perhaps the best Southern home game atmosphere. Now, I've seen some atmospheres, right? I remember one year we played Jackson in the quarterfinal when they were hosting the quarterfinal at home before you went off into the tournament. That was a pretty electric atmosphere. But that last 13 seconds of this Southern Grambling State game, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You can't ask for better. It was college basketball at its finest when you're talking about rivals. Oh, man, phenomenal. And I'll break it down for you guys. Let's talk about the game first. Southern getting the victory, 67-60, and it ain't even what you think. It ain't even what you think when you look at that final score. As this game rolled on, the Jaguars in this one shooting 24 of 55 for 43%, 5 of 18 from the three-point line, shooting 27%, and 14 of 22 from the free throw line, 63% in this ball game. I want to see Southern do better at the free throw line. Simple as that. Simple as that. Southern has to do better from the free throw line. 33 rebounds in this ball game, 13 assists, 8 steals, 7 blocks, 15 total turnovers, 7 points off of fast breaks, 38 points in the paint for the Jaguars as they was banging. 12-point lead was the largest lead in this ballgame. On the other side for the Tigers of Grambling. Struggled early on but found themselves back into this ball game and made it a burner, as they say. 19-49 shooting this one for 38%. 4-15 from the three-point line, shooting 26%, and 18-21 from the free throw line, shooting 85%. They was taking advantage of those free points when they had opportunities. 31 rebounds in this ball game, 23 defensively, 8 offensively, 8 assists, 10 steals, 3 blocks, 16 total turnovers in this ball game. Grambling was able to get 17 points off of those turnovers, 5 fast break points, 22 points in the paint, and their largest lead in the ball game was 7 points. But how about this? 3 technical fouls in this ball game. Let's rewind it back and let's look at it. Southern's up pretty much the vast majority of this game. It looks like Southern has this thing. Yeah, we're going to walk away with it. Grambling mid-second half just begins to knock down the shots as Southern goes cold. Free throws were the name of the game for Grambling. That really helped them. Knocking down clutch shots. The momentum started to swing. The pendulum went in their direction, and before you know it, with 13 seconds left, Grambling sets up for a three-pointer, and they knock it down, tying this ball game at 60. Hearts dropped. Cigarettes were pulled out. We're about 13 seconds from having to light one up in the mini-dome because it was like, no way Grambling walks away with a victory after just a hell of a game, a hell of a performance for Southern. There's no way we're going to let Grambling come in and steal this one from us. Just no way. And guess what? Southern gets the ball, inbounded, takes it down, and at about 0.8 seconds left in the game, goes up for a layup. And you know what the ref does? Blows the whistle and calls foul, and all hell broke loose on the Grambling bench. Grambling coach gets in the face of the official. They team up. He continues to go. Guess what? He gets ejected out of the game. And when I say the crowd let him feel it, when the crowd was there, they really let him feel it. Now, okay, once we get the coach out the way, the Grambling bench at this point just complete disarray. Don't know what to do. They're still feeling that animosity. It's a rivalry game, must I say. Southern and Grambling, as much as it's a family affair, do not like each other when they have to see each other. A lot of pride on the line from South Louisiana to North Louisiana. So now the assistant coach is going crazy. It's another tech. We got 2 technical fouls with 0.8 seconds left in the game on top of the foul that was called a shooting foul. Now you got the players from Grambling getting frustrated, ready to go back and forth. And what I liked about Coach Johnson, the way he was able to keep his composure and the team's composure in what it seems a moment of chaos. Because that 0.8 seconds to finish that took about 15 minutes, having to clear everything out, having to just get order restored. It was the true definition of rivalry. It was the true definition of the home crowd affecting the teams and making themselves known in that ball game. The crowd was in it, and I just was like, gosh, I can understand, Coach, you get mad. You will want the ref to allow things to play itself out. But with 0.8 seconds left, a foul is a foul. You have to do your job into the buzzer. So because of that, man, hell of a finish. And let me tell you something. Dr. Travian Scott, the athletic director up there at Grambling, he tried, y'all get y'all, well, I can't say a lot of cuss words. Y'all get y'all butt to that locker room as soon as possible. Well, listen, he was trying to get Grambling coaches and players off that court as quick as possible. Southern gets the victory 67-60, one of the best environments, I think, under 13 seconds. Everybody was sitting down for the most part, but that last 13 seconds, I'll take it. All right, I'll take that last 13 seconds. We had a caller calling in. Hey, caller, be sure to give me a call back here. I'm sorry, I was in my storytelling mood, but you could definitely call back. You know, that I had to tell a story because, man, what a phenomenal game. Southern and Grambling last week. The Jaguars able to pull it off. Let's look at some other games around the SWAC on last Saturday besides all that hoopla I'm talking about. Jackson State getting the victory 79-70 over Prairie View. How about Bethune-Cookman continue to find their winning way once again, 83-58 over Mississippi Valley State. Alabama State getting a victory over Alabama A&M 69-65. Florida A&M over UAPB 86-76, and Texas Southern 66-57 on the men's side. Then Monday, of course, Southern did not have a game due to playing Grambling. Alcorn State getting an 8-point victory over Prairie View, 78-70. Texas Southern 81-73 over Jackson State. Florida A&M 83. Mississippi Valley State 83. And then Bethune-Cookman rolls on once again. Coach Reggie Theus and that Bethune-Cookman team 73-64 over UAPB. I don't think if you have not caught on yet, I like Reggie Theus and that Bethune-Cookman team. Although they lost to Southern, they have a pretty good ball club. I just must admit. Let's talk about the SWAC conference standing. And once again, to that caller who was calling in, definitely call back, man. I was just in the middle of a story that I had to talk about. But let's look at the SWAC standings. Southern men's basketball will take on two teams who have yet to win a conference game so far this season. They have UAPB today, Mississippi Valley on Monday. UAPB and Valley both winless. Valley 0-6 in conference play. The Golden Lions 0-5. I don't know how much longer UAPB is going to keep Coach Bozeman up there. I mean, this is not what I think they wanted when they brought him in. They're 3-15 on the season and 0-5 in conference play. You know, I always bring up UAPB because it's my neck of the woods and my mom's alma mater, but unacceptable right there. 3-15, 0-5 as we're getting ready to head into February. Unacceptable with a record. Grambling, how about them? Underachieving, 1-4 in conference play. They're 4-14 on the season, man. It's just, if it just couldn't get any lower, it just continues to be low for Grambling after that loss. And I know they really was effective and hurt last Saturday. Looking at Florida A&M and Alabama A&M on the men's side, both sitting there at 2-3 in conference play. Now let's talk about the teams 500 and above. Prairie View sitting there at 3-3 in conference play. Alcorn State along with Alabama State both tied up at 3-2 in conference play. Then you have three teams all sitting there in second place. Texas Southern, Bethune-Cookman, and Jackson State all at 4-1. Keep in mind, Southern, who is at the top, 5-0 in conference play, 10-8. They are the only team, the Jaguars are the only team in the conference with a winning record with their overall record. The next closest teams are Texas Southern, Bethune-Cookman, and Alabama State, who are all 7-11 on the season. Of course, Southern 10-8 on the season. Big road victories against Louisiana Tech and Tulsa in non-conference play. 5-0 in conference play. Coach Kevin Johnson has something really going. His team coming off the bench and bench scoring #1 in the nation. He rotates. He keeps fresh legs. It's amazing to watch how he rotates this team, even dealing with injuries of some key players. Key players missing. Giving Texas Southern and Bethune-Cookman their only loss on the season. And then with UAPB and Valley with no wins on the season. It's going to be interesting as they head up to Pine Bluff and Valley. Mike, we got a caller there. We're going to put him on hold after get ready to take a break. But he hung up. Call back again, caller. I see you on there. Call back again. But the Jaguars right now look good. Almost made us need a cigarette and a shot last week against Grambling, but I expected that. Grambling has just had our number. Bethune-Cookman had our number. But I know that we are headed in the right direction by the way that we were able to get a victory over two teams who have traditionally had our number over the past couple seasons. And it's some good basketball to watch, entertaining. So shout out to Coach Kevin Johnson. I just want to see, for me, Southern has to do better shooting free throws. Just have to. I am not liking what I see from the free throws. Other games around the SWAC real quick today. Prairie View taking on Alabama State. Florida A&M taking on Alcorn State. Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State today should be a good one right there. Should be a really good one right there. That game is going to be at Jackson State. Texas Southern taking on Alabama A&M, and then Grambling taking on Mississippi Valley. On Monday, you're going to have Prairie View taking on Alabama A&M, Bethune-Cookman taking on Alcorn State, Grambling to be on the road up at Pine Bluff taking on UAPB. Florida A&M and Jackson State will be going back and forward. Texas Southern on the road at Alabama State, and, of course, Southern to round things out at Mississippi Valley. Of course, Southern's women's game, who was scheduled for Thursday, because of the weather, inclement weather, has been moved. It's going to be on Monday on the road at Mississippi Valley. Of course, you know, in the SWAC, they do the Thursday games on the women's side, but Southern's game will be right before the men's game on Monday in Mississippi Valley. Hey, caller, give me a call back. I don't know what's going on. I want to see you like my board up. Anybody else want to call in today? 225-499-1073 is the number. 225-499-1073 is the number. You can call in and talk to me about any and everything. It's Saturday. It's cold. The snow is gone. But nonetheless, we're right here. It's the Jaguar Journal. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll be right back.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody listening around the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3 FM. Good morning to you as you're riding with your radio up. Glad to have you. Everybody on our YouTube channel, be sure to go hit that subscribe button. And if you have not, if you're listening on radio, if you're watching on whatever, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, become a subscriber today, get a notification every time we go live. And everybody watching on our Facebook, good morning to you across the various groups. Glad to have you guys with us. Hit that like and follow button. And of course, you can follow us across everywhere. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Along with YouTube, just type in the Jaguar Journal. We're also on X and Instagram at the Jaguar Journal _ Facebook, of course, the Jaguar Journal. And in any one of those in our description, you can click our link tree for all of our social media outlets, so you'll be able to follow us. Once again, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, man. If you're looking for the Jaguar Journal, we all over the place. No way you can say you did not find us. And then, of course, on live radio right here in the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3 FM. This is what we are primarily. We are a radio show. All right, because we're a radio show, let's get a caller here on the line. We got 2 callers. Let's go to the first one. Let's go to CJ. Good morning, CJ.
Good morning, Perry. Good morning. You and Mike doing an outstanding job, just not with the Jaguar Journal talk show, but all across the spectrum, just like you just said. I just want to take my hat off to you two guys because y'all have really brought the show to another level. I wanted to talk to Dr. Taylor because, look, I was been following Southern, the Human Jukebox, before they was the Human Jukebox. I go back to the 60s. We went to Texas Southern in Bragg Stadium. Southern band was so outstanding, Texas Southern band wasn't even permitted to come on the field at halftime. That's how the big difference is. Now you got Texas Southern shouting they the best in the West or whatever because of the Beyonce thing and so forth and so on. But I just wanted to get with Dr. Taylor to say it's a few things that it does hurt me to see in the Battle of the Bands of past, this 24. They done put Tennessee State ahead of us, Jackson State ahead of us, Florida A&M ahead of us. So we got some work to do now because we still the baddest band in the land. We're just not getting the proper respect, I think.
I think they be hating on us, CJ. I'll be honest with you. Because when I look at that poll, you talking about that Band of the Year poll, they be hating on Southern. I don't even put no validity into that. I just think they flat out hating. We know, come on, man. Ain't that, Florida A&M, Tennessee State, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Even North Carolina Central. I mean, they got some bands I couldn't believe.
I don't believe it. And that's why I stopped looking at it because it was like it made no sense to me. I was straight on that, so I wouldn't even put no hype into what they've been doing. If they don't have Southern #1, it ain't even worth it.
Yeah. Well, I want to get to that. That was my comment on Dr. Taylor thing, but I was at the game at Grambling. It was crazy, absolutely crazy.
Did you enjoy yourself?
It was the best attendance I have ever seen at Southern. I've been going to Southern game ever since they built the mini dome. Okay, and we never got it to the rafters like they had it Saturday night. Okay, and I just hope that just translates into future things down the road. But it did get out of hand with the coaches and so forth and so on. And Trayvon did do a good job. I'm a big fan of Trayvon because he played for me with the Baton Rouge Bandits, and that's how he got his start in life, But I do think Coach Johnson did an excellent job. At the end, we just didn't, we need a player that can close things for us. We don't have a player that I think can take the game over at the end of the game and close things for us. If he got to work on something, he got to find a closer. Because as you can see with the Bethune-Cookman team, that guy had one or two people that could close games for him, and they damn near closed it for them, We got to find that type of player to come to Southern. But what I see there, he got 10 to 12 boys that he can put in there at any time and feel we don't lose no strength. I think he's doing an outstanding job. So that's my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CJ, for the call this morning. All right, let's go to the next caller. Who we have? We got Gary. Good morning, Gary.
How you doing? How you guys doing this morning?
Doing good, man. How about yourself, Gary?
Just good. I was listening to you talk to the baseball coach, and I asked some questions about baseball. You guys ever tried to get Ricky Weeks, one of the greatest players ever to play for Southern, Golden Spike Water winner, the first SWAC, Golden Spike winner, D1, Golden Spike winner? You ever try to get him to come back to the program?
You have to turn your background down, Gary. I can hear feedback of whatever you're listening to the show on.
Okay, and my last question: has Southern University baseball team ever tried to get any upgrades to their facilities, like weight room or where the locker rooms at, anything like that? And I hang up with this.
No, Gary, don't hang up, man. Talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on, Gary. You ain't got to hang up and just dip. Talk to me for a second, man. All right. So I want to make sure your first question. The first question was, has Southern ever tried to get Ricky to come back to around the program is what you asked?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ricky has been back around the program. I mean, I personally have seen him around the program, especially with conversations with talking with Coach Roger Kadar. But Ricky, of course, is a busy man himself. Ricky has a lot of love for Southern, and you know what I'm going to do because you asked? I'm going to reach out to Ricky and see if I can get him here on the show and we have some conversations with him. But he has definitely been around the program. The second question was, is Southern tried to get upgrades to its facilities?
Yes, sir, like weight room around the locker rooms and make sure the baseball players have their own weight room, their own equipment room, and just right there for baseball. Everything is for baseball.
Now, Gary, you know, Gary, and particularly at Southern, everybody's sharing the weight room right there in the field house. No, but one thing I will say, and this was one of the conversations I had with Coach Kedrick over the years, just talking about that baseball program. He talked to me of the years even before that place even had that field where it is now, Lee Hines Field. And, of course, in the latter years, on the back end of his career, they were able to build the Roger Kedrick baseball field house, which right now consists of coaching offices and a locker room along with showers. No weight room, and the facilities have not been upgraded. Now, Gary, this is one of the questions and the conversations that I was having with Coach Crenshaw, which is why he's having his event coming up. But one of the biggest things is, how many championships has Southern won? Southern has won numerous championships. We're talking over the decades, right? Over the decades. How much is us as fans are pouring back into that program? Because one thing that we have to realize when they look at a program, especially on our level where the resources are low, you're not going to get all the money that you want being poured into a program directly from the athletic budget, who is just barely trying to survive anyway, to take care of all the other sports. It's going to come down to our fans. Our fan base has to understand and has to realize that we have to make an investment. Anything that you do in life, if you want to see it grow, you have to invest into it. Investing goes beyond just buying tickets and us crying about championships. Because when we win championships, that was what I was having a conversation with Coach Crenshaw. What happens then when you win a championship and you come back the next year? Are you coming back to the same issues, the same problems, and maybe more because you couldn't address the ones from the previous year because financially you don't have what you need? Us as fans and loyal supporters, boosters, groups, whatever the case may be, have to realize what we have to put into a program in order for that program to then grow. Whether it's helping them getting batting cages, whether it's helping with just whatever they need for the field, whether it is to extend and add on to the field house to add weights, because none of that is cheap. Along with trying to go get the player that he's saying, hey, ain't cheap either. So that's the conversation, and this not sent it to you, but I'm having this conversation because you asked the question that is a real question. What facility upgrades have they had? What have we done as fans and supporters to give back to that baseball program? When was the last big donation that we saw of anybody giving to the program to say, hey, I want to make sure Southern baseball exceeds in the future, so I want to give $100,000. I want to give $500,000. Hell, I want to give $1 million to that program. I think that's something we have to be able to acknowledge as a fan base, because one thing I will always harp and get on our fan base about, we do a lot of yelling about winning, but we don't do a lot about putting money back into our programs. We want SWAC championships. We want coaches to do a lot with a little, because that's what the hell is going on at Southern. When I say doing a lot with a little, it is a lot with a little. The programs and facilities that we thought were great in the 90s are not great in 2024 when you look at the college landscape around us, the athletic landscape, and how programs have built and have invested into their athletic programs and facilities. We're still rocking and rolling with facilities of the past years, right? We got the Roger Kedrick baseball field house. But what are we doing to keep that place up? What are we doing to add on to it to ensure that it continues to grow? The same way with the field house, with football. Everybody uses the field house. It ain't just for football. You'll look up every sport in athletics at Southern is using that weight room, is using everything about that facility. Even baseball practicing, soccer practicing and playing their games on the turf. We're overusing the things that we have because guess what? We're not investing into those other programs for them to have what they need adequately. So we overuse the things that we do have, and guess what? When you overuse something, eventually what happens? The wear and tear begins to happen. So that goes back into the question of what you asked. They have not improved any facilities at Southern, particularly on the baseball side in terms of weight room or anything else. But I put that message out there for people to say or to hear. Let's start writing checks. Whether it's we get 1,000 of us and we all write a $50 check, that's something better than nothing in order to give back to these programs, in order to see them grow. Soccer just won the women's SWAC tournament. First time in history. What we going to do to help Coach Fontenot come back next year to help improve his program? Those are the types of things that we have to do as loyal supporters and lovers of the institution and of our athletic programs, Gary.
And who's Southern's strength coach for all those sports in the field house?
You know what? I don't even know, Gary. I'm going to have to dig deep into find out who the strength coach is. That's another thing. Overusing those things. You know, you're stretching us thin. You think we're doing a good job at strength and conditioning?
Well, I know it can improve because you see on the football field, the football players are they strong, but they're not strong when they play teams like Jackson State. They get overpowered. So they're strong, but not where they need to be.
What you want to see them be, Gary? I'm asking this to you.
I want to see that offensive line dominant, to hold and protect the quarterback. I want to see that defensive line bring pressure and overpower that tackle, overpower that guard, and sack that quarterback. And we only know that comes through strength and strength training on the off-winter season, like winter now, or they're in that weight room now working out with the weights, or they getting stronger, or they getting leaner, or they getting just conditioning, overall conditioning for spring practice coming up in April or March. You know, things like that.
You just want them to go in there and get to work.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Gary. Hey, Gary, appreciate you for the call, man. As always, man, appreciate you for tuning in and listening and interacting with me, Gary. You just hung up on me, huh? Just click. Just you see how Gary do me? Appreciate you, Gary. Appreciate you, CJ. I got to get ready to take a break. I'm over a little bit, so let's y'all stay tuned. I'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high-octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket, and his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Third down. 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
The backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet, and Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5.
All All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us, man, as we're getting ready to wrap things up. I want to thank Coach Crenshaw, Chris Crenshaw, the Southern University head baseball coach, coming on and talking to us about the program, upcoming events. Go back and listen in the first hour if you want to be able to get an opportunity to hear any information that you need about any upcoming events. Also, my man, Dr. Kedrick Taylor, the director of bands at Southern University, want to thank him for coming on and talking to us about upcoming events for the band. They will be headed to Los Angeles, California next week to participate in the Honda Battle of the Bands. Big thing for them to be able to go out to the West Coast and take that brand and marketing for Southern University out on the West Coast and open some eyes to some people who may not have seen our HBCU culture, may not have seen why Southern University has the best band in the land. To be able to see that out in L.A., that's going to be huge. I want to thank my man CJ and my man Gary for calling in this morning, man. Always entertaining when I get them. Chris was quiet today. Chris somewhere, he just sitting back lurking. He going to eventually make his appearance. He's sitting back lurking, though. We waiting on. I know what you waiting on, Chris. You waiting on for me to get to that football recruiting. See, y'all, I'm not going to football y'all to death. I did that for a whole fall. At some point, y'all just got to just give it a rest for a second. God, dog. And I'm not just saying for Chris, for a lot of folks, because I get overwhelmed with the amount of questions about the recruiting. I'm like, man, let's just let it play itself out. When it play itself out, then I have all the conversations in the world with you. I'm talking about it when it finally play itself out, I'm going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. But God, dog, y'all didn't get enough from July, June, all the way to, how long I talked about that? All the way to the end of December? The end of the year? God, dog, man, there's other sports out there, and I'm trying to bring light to them. Y'all don't be caring. You don't care about no SWAC basketball, do you? You don't care. Damn sure don't care about no SWAC baseball, do you? Nope, I just want to know who we recruiting. I heard about that quarterback and what that quarterback looking like, and that old running back. I heard they got a running back from over there. That running back from over there. What's going on? Like, man, when I'm ready, I'm going to talk about it. I ain't ready to talk about it yet because it's still changing. It's still switching up. And when I'm ready, I'm going to get you Coach Graves. I'm going to get you Coach Mark Fredericks. I'm going to get you Coach Henry Miller. Hey, I'm going to bring them to the forefront right to you. Then guess what? You can call because I don't have all the answers for you. I really don't. I be trying to give you some answers, but then y'all get to ask me stuff like I am a coach. I am not the coach at Southern. I'm cool with the coaches, but I'm not the coach. So it'd be a little bit, over my head with some of the questions. So I get the coaches here, and I'll give them the platform for you guys to call in and be able to ask them questions about that old quarterback that you saw sign and about that defensive tackle that you heard was coming to Southern, that former 3-star D tackle and all of them. I'm going to open the floor up for you guys so y'all don't ask me a billion, quadrillion. I don't even know, that's how many damn questions y'all be asking me about football, but that's it. Thank you, Mike. I'm the ref, not the coach. I throw the flags. I don't call the plays, but I could call a play. I could call a play now. Don't get it twisted when it comes to the football now. I could call a play. But, man, nonetheless, man, hey, it don't matter. I appreciate you guys. Call in. Y'all can bother me anytime you want. Ask me a million questions about them damn recruits, and I'm going to give you the same answer every time. Hey, it is what it is, Call and ask me. I don't care. And I'll tell you a little bit, just a little bit. But I be wanting y'all to hear from the horse's mouth itself, man. And look, thank everybody for tuning in this morning. If you have not done so, of course, we on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You just type in the Jaguar Journal. You'll be able to find us there on X and Instagram at the Jaguar Journal _ and, of course, on Facebook. We are the Jaguar Journal. Shout out to my man Off Script tuned in today. Man, that's my dog right there. He said, hey, great show. I appreciate you. He say he liked that Southern University Human Jukebox, that marching band. That John Legend tomorrow. Hey, I was there the first time they blew that thing. I had to turn around, Scotty. I was, what the hell? Turn around. When the band director know he feeling that directing get real good. Hey, you get really into it. That's what happened. And that's a Kedrick Taylor special right there. That's who arranged that one. And shout out to everybody that's out there. How long I got, Mike, before we out of here? A minute and a half. The Southern University men and women's basketball team on the road today. Southern men and women taking on UAPB up in my neck of the woods, up in the H.O. Clemens Arena. The Hyper Complex is what we call it. Listen, UAPB men and women both struggling. UAPB men have not won a conference game. Hey, I don't have no problem speaking my mind, but if I'm a athletic director, Chris Robinson, up that way, you got to really start taking a hard look at Coach Bozeman, man. I mean, that is not the direction you want to head in right now. Winless in conference play, 3 wins on the season. I understand on the women's side, you had Coach Don Thornton, who moved on to Alabama A&M last year, so you're going to have the struggles maybe in first year. I'm not giving no excuses why you're struggling, but if I guess there was one, you found a new coach and just, she got to get it together her way. But Chris Robinson, you got to take a good look at everybody. Even football. Alonzo Hampton, you better get it together. 3 wins in a season ain't going to cut it, buddy. And I say this because I'm speaking on behalf of my mom and many others who I know UAPB alum. Shout out to my man Corey DeBose up there in Pine Bluff listening, tuned in to the show this morning, man. That's like my little brother right there. My man Carter Guy out there listening. I think he over in Colorado and everybody else. Kevin Walker, my man Chuck, Elwin Moore, Jeremiah Clark, man, everybody out there, man. Good morning. Glad to have you guys tune in. My man Vark always. And so we got to get ready to get out of here, man. Southern taking on UAPB today, Mississippi Valley on Monday. If you need the times and everything else, man, you can go visit the UAPB athletic department website to see if they streaming the game. And ESPN always keep you up to date. How about the NFL before we get out of here? I can't let that go. Who you going with? Who you going with? You got the Bills all the way? You know me, I'm fair weather, so my partner's up in Kansas City. Y'all know I rock with the Chiefs. Once the Ravens couldn't get past the Bills, damn, Andrews, dropping that. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, you going with the Bills. You think the Bills get it done? Josh Allen fan since day one. That boy is sneaky fast. He will get down if you give him just any length of room. And he's tough to bring down. But how about Jalen Daniels and the Commanders? Anybody saw this one coming? And Jalen Hurts, just like, hey, this what y'all wanted. This what y'all came to see, huh? Hey, this what y'all want to see? Him and Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We got some great games lined up tomorrow, man. So, who you got? I'm rocking the Kansas City Chiefs all the way to the Super Bowl. It is what it is with me. Hey, say what you want. Hey, I like my buddy Mahomes, man. He make football look fun to me. I like it to look fun. I don't want it to look forced. But all of these guys are making it look good. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, these quarterbacks are making the game look good. And Jaden Daniels spinning that rock. My God, he put it on the money of where it needs to be. So, hey, hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the snow. It is gone. We're going to be near 70 tomorrow. And as we head on into the rest of the week, man, I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe. And be sure to go follow the Jaguar Journal and subscribe across all those Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, X, Instagram, as well as Facebook. From my man Mike and myself, Perry White, man, glad to have you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all stay tuned. Hey, I'll be back next week at the same time in the same place because always, it's the Jaguar Journal. Have a great week. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.